Ahoy, mateys, and welcome to another episode of Shore Leave, where these two sailors are taking a chance to kick back, absorb the local color, and talk about some anime and Japan-related topics. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
And we're here to cake up and encourage people to flaunt it, if they've got it. Because one festival in Japan will be asking its participants to keep their clothes on this year. Are you familiar, Mikan Hana, with the Yaya Matsuri?
No, but it sounds like fun.
Well, yeah, you get your yayas out.
Yeah, right.
The Yaya Matsuri is the annual festival for Owase Shrine in the town of Owase in Mie Prefecture. And the name Yaya comes from the phrase Yaya Ware Kosawa, which means, I am such a person. And samurai would say that they would announce themselves and their lineage before they entered a battle.
Okay.
Right? And the samurai of Shoji, Naka, and the surrounding areas would pay homage to the kami of Owase Shrine before fighting battles, the battles of the Sengoku period. Now, over time, the Matsuri came to include a festival, a daikyu longbow ceremony, which had been going on since the Kamakura period, and rituals to pray for abundant harvests. The highlight of the festival is the purification ritual called korikaki, where male participants plunge into nearby rivers after nightfall. Now, keep in mind that this festival takes place in February, and the jumpers are nude.
Wow. So, polar bear swim.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you say, I was in the pool in Kansai dialect? That's what I need to know. Here is a video from the festival. You ready?
Oh, wow. I better put my headphones on.
There might be sound.
Okay.
So, like any good Matsuri,
350年余り続いている尾鷲のヤーヤ祭りです。ヤーヤー我こそはと戦国武将が合戦で名乗る言葉が由来とされ、白装束の男たちが繰り広げる練りと呼ばれる激しいもみ合いが最大の見ものです。
We're just going to jump up. One guy has a minion hat.
So that's all traditional. And then once everybody's all sweaty, then it's time to get on down to the docks.
今年の豊漁の作を願い、極寒の海に次々と飛び込みました。祭りは明日まで続き、華やかな大名行列も行われます。
So it's all been fun and games for 300 years or so. But this year, revelers are being asked to put their yayas away.
Oh.
Last year, the local Parishioners Association was cautioned by the prefectural police about the potential online spread of photos and video from the event. Everybody's there voluntarily, and the ritual isn't any kind of secret. But nobody seems to have a problem with chilling their plums in this instance. But the powers that be are concerned about media of a certain character appearing on social media platforms, which may have particular regulations against adult content.
Oh, okay.
So in response to the concern, the festival this year has elected to require shorts, swimsuits, loincloths, and the like for participants in the ritual, emphasis on participants. And they could have chosen to ban photography and video from the event, but the social media spread of pictures and videos from events like this are very important to Matsuri and other festivals.
Well, that makes
to
sense.
Drive tourism.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. They rely on that to stay profitable. So this year's Yaya Matsuri takes place from February 1st through the 5th. So
wow,
keep warm out there, guys. Ever go skinny dipping?
No, I've never gone skinny dipping. I was too scared to do it when I was younger. And
how many of my younger are we talking about?
Well, I mean, I was kind of prudish in my youth.
Oh, come on.
And weird about like my own body, so I just never did it.
I'd rather dig into this part.
Like I went to an all-girls summer camp, and
skinny
dipping definitely happened.
Okay, all right.
But me and my best friend, like we were on a camping trip, and like a bunch of our fellow campers were going skinny dipping, and we just decided to stay on the beach.
Okay.
We were like, we're good.
The adult me respects your self-possession.
Uh-huh.
But like as a kid thinking about like being at the age of those kids.
Yeah.
Oh, you were those guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Not fun.
Yeah, I guess
it's funny how you can have two minds on that.
Yeah. Did you ever go skinny dipping?
Plead the fifth. Welcome to people watching on YouTube, Twitch, and so on and so forth. Thanks for joining us. This is at this point, it's not really an experiment. I guess we're just doing this at this point.
Yeah.
Streaming live our Shore Leave episodes. And we'll be watching our chat throughout the show, so feel free to join into the conversation. If you haven't yet, please take this chance to click the heart and the bell icon below the video, or click the follow and the like button on YouTube. That really does help us out, and you get notified when we're live and broadcasting in the future. When you get a chance, check out our About page here on Twitch, or also our show page on YouTube. And we've got links for engagement, donation links if you want to send us a tip on Twitch or a super chat on YouTube. That would be so amazing as well. I feel like we haven't done this for a while.
We haven't.
Yeah, we did it in
we took a
December,
break.
technically. Yeah.
Yes.
And then we took the holidays off, but here we're back again.
Yeah, we are back again.
Good to be here.
Yeah, it is good to be here.
One of the good things about being here is getting to read our Spotify responses. For every episode of the show, we have on Spotify a Q&A page. What did you think about this episode? It's available through your Spotify app or on PC, and it gives you a chance to let us know what you thought of every episode that we do. And we've got a new comment.
Okay.
It's a big one. It's
Okay.
from episode 164, The Golden Crystal Appears, Nehelenia's Magic. The comment is from Black Star Raven, and fortunately, I gotta get into character for this one.
Oh, no.
This is a quote. He's writing this as a quote by me.
Oh, okay.
Right? Helios, I'm gonna be honest with you. Now I gotta put these on. Great character, because I can read. This isn't me. I hate this season. I can't stand it any longer. I feel saturated by it. And every time I do, I feel I've somehow been infected by it. So, that's a little Agent Smith by way of Caliban, by way of berating Pegasus for being such a vermin.
Well, that was very nicely done.
Mikahana's stunned. Thank you for that comment, Black Star Raven. And remember, listeners, you can leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about our episode on Spotify. It's our Q&A, and we'll read your response on the air. I think it's time to get right to it.
All right.
What have you got for us this week?
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about Sugamo, a.k.a. Granny's Harajuku.
Granny's Harajuku?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I know.
You Harajuku grannies.
Yes.
You got some wicked style.
Yeah. The granny's got wicked style.
Okay. All right. Well, let us know.
Okay. So,
all about Granny's Harajuku.
Yeah. So Sugamo is a retro area in the Toshima ward of northern Tokyo.
Right.
Jizodori Shopping Street is the main artery of Sugamo, and it runs about 800 meters northwest of Sugamo Station. So if you look at photo number 1.
Oh, all right. So we got photos.
Yeah, we got photos.
Not that.
Not that.
提灯を手に激しく揉み合う人たち。350年余り続
You've
く
had your chance.
So yeah, this is the entrance to, or one of the entrances to Jizodori Shopping Street.
Okay.
Sugamo is known as, quote, Granny's Harajuku, or the Harajuku of old ladies. So both of those. I personally prefer Granny's Harajuku myself.
It's catchier.
Yeah. Dori means street, and then this is from Nippon.com. Quote, Jizo is a bosatsu, the Japanese term for the bodhisattva in Buddhism, one who is in search of enlightenment, but also seeks to help others attain the state of Buddhahood.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And Jizos are famous statues around Japan and everything.
Little guy's got the things.
Yeah.
With the little, yeah.
Often have like a little red
or that's
bib.
Ringo Starr, maybe. I'm not sure.
Could be that too. Jizodori is similar area to Harajuku's busy Takashita Street, but it caters to a much older crowd. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of traditional food shops and with history going back to the Edo period. Jizodori Shopping Street was originally established back in 1903. Prior to this, the area got its start as the first stop along the Nakasendo Road, which was the route from Tokyo to Kyoto. So the street
it's
itself
like a Highway 90 of Interstate 90.
Right.
Yeah.
So the street itself was established in 1903, but there have been stalls and shops in that area before because it was a major stop on this road.
Yeah.
Jizodori features over 200 shops and has a lot of traditional goods, street food, wagashi, and clothing stores. The street is flat and has textured bricks that prevent slippage of its oldest customers. So they're trying to make it very comfortable and easy for older folks to get around.
They're like, we got grannies coming in here.
Yeah, exactly.
And we can't take another lawsuit. Now, these bricks, this is a modern thing, right?
Yes.
They didn't have, like, textured bricks in the Edo era.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Who knows if it was bricked at all at
grannies
that point.
can, whatever happens to them, that's fine. They haven't invented insurance yet.
Yeah, right. Well, and a lot of the shops do sell, like, canes and stuff like that. I'm serious. Okay. They do.
Gold?
Yeah, of course.
Mesothelioma lawsuits? Sorry.
Anyways. So Koanji Temple is located along Jizodori, and it is home to Togenku Jizo, the splinter removing Buddha. So if we go to photo number 2.
Okay. Splinter removing?
Yes.
This isn't a Ninja Turtles thing, is it?
No, that would be great though. So this is like the Torii Gate at the temple. A visit to the temple is said to cure all sorts of injuries or pains. When you visit, you are supposed to waft the incense smoke over the area of your body that needs to be healed. And this is supposed to help heal your body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's your elbow.
Hopefully it's your elbow.
Not
if it's your ankle, you're gonna have some trouble, getting it there.
Bathing suit area.
Yeah.
Could be embarrassing potentially.
Potentially it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So legend has it a very ill wife of a samurai was healed after praying to Togenkui, Jizo. So that's kind of how it became known. This temple became known to be a place where you could cure your injuries and your pain.
Okay.
The temple was established in 1596 and was relocated from Ueno to Sugamo in 1891. For 100 yen, you can buy an omikage. It's a piece of paper that contains 5 images of Jizo Buddha. You can attach the paper to the area of your body that needs to be healed, or you can eat omikage, which is unedible paper, to digest the healing power.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yes. The temple is also home to Arai Cannon statue. This is photo number 3. Folks pour water over the statue's head with wooden cups that have handles, as you can see here.
I see grannies.
Yeah, exactly. They then wipe the part of the statue that they want to heal with a hand towel bought from this temple for 100 yen. So you see they have hand towels in their hands. And so, like, if you again, shoulder, you would wipe her shoulder down.
Sure. Somebody wants their hair healed?
Well, they're pouring water over the entire...
Oh, okay. It goes down over the entire thing.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not, like, spot applying the water.
No,
okay.
they spot apply the cloth to wipe
it
clean.
Now.
Yeah.
And there would be a sign, like an IKEA guy doing it for foreigners, right?
Right.
He would go, Right, yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So the temple holds small-scale matsuri on the 4th, 14th, and 24th day of each month. Oh. So all the days that end with 4.
Okay.
On the matsuri days, street vendors fill Jizodori, and people come to shop and eat street food. So they'll be like street food stalls like yakisoba and takoyaki and stuff like that out on the street.
Yeah.
3 times a month.
Yeah, granny food.
Granny food, how they like it.
A little soup. Or maybe some,
some tofu.
Let's go to the Werther's original booth. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
So Rikugen Gardens were built around 1700, and the garden reproduces 88 scenes from famous poems. In spring and autumn, the gardens are lit up at night. So that's another fun thing to do around Jizodori. In Jizodori, you can shop for lucky red underwear. This is photo number 4.
Oh. Okay, that's not so
as
bad.
You can see that.
I didn't know what we were getting into.
Yeah, okay, that's totally fair. In Japan, the color red represents longevity and luck, so these akapen, or red panties, are meant to bring good luck to the wearer. Fittingly, the red panties are granny panties for women. For men, boxers are available.
Okay.
So, yeah. Maruji store has a sign that states Japan's best red underwear. So this is photo number 5.
Okay.
you can just see more underwear and everything there. There are shirts and like scarves and other things that are also red, and they're supposed to also bring good luck.
Whoa, 1050. I don't think so. Pair of socks.
And so red underwear is also said to stimulate the life energy, or ki as it's known in Japanese, instead of chi. But because of that, like, you're warned not to wear red underwear to bed because you'll just be too stimulated.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah, right. It's not good for falling asleep.
Getting mixed
too.
Messages here.
Yeah, exactly. Sugamo means duck nest, so its mascot is a kawaii duck named Sugamon. So that's photo number 6, as you can see right here. He's very cute. You see his likeness all along Jizodori, and the entrance to the shopping district has a large fluffy ball with a sign saying it's supposed to be Sugamon's bottom. So if you go to photo number 7...
Do I have to?
Yeah, you have to. So there it is.
It's a duck butt.
It's a duck butt. Touch the ball and you will get married, or touch it lightly and you won't need extra help when you grow old.
I guess not.
So there you go.
90th anniversary, that banner says. Of what?
Maybe Jizodori?
Of their sustainable development goals in Jizodori. Wow.
Yeah, so
right.
I mean, it was established in
The duck butt
1903.
works.
So yeah, there you go. One of the foods that you can eat at Jizodori Shopping Street is the nure senbei, or, quote, moist rice cracker. It's photo number 8.
I thought you were going to say, like, duck other parts.
No.
The moist senbei. Sure,
yeah.
Sure.
So these crackers have not been dried or grilled, so their texture is similar to mochi.
Yeah, right. This is before they get crispy.
Yeah.
It's like eating cookie dough.
Basically, yeah. Another food to try is shio daifuku, or salted red bean paste encased in mochi. This is photo number 9.
Ooh.
The shio daifuku is not overwhelmingly sweet, and the salt adds an extra dimension to the wagashi.
Can we talk about the tadpole?
The tadpole?
Yeah. What's
Where's
he saying?
the tadpole?
Right above the snack.
I don't know what he's saying. That first
what
character is Ma. I don't know.
No, it's a tadpole, right?
Oh, what is it? I don't know what it's saying. The
All
little
right.
bubble.
Don't listen to me. Just keep
Okay,
talking.
sorry. It looks
Just
like a
keep
tadpole.
talking. Yeah, all right. Lots of things do.
Yeah, okay. This treat has become the shio daifuku has become one of the most popular treats and a symbol of the neighborhood.
Okay.
At the entrance of the Jizodori is Shinshoji Temple, where you can see an 11 feet tall Jizo statue. This is photo number 10. So,
whoa, he's on fire.
Very big Jizo. So that's just a brief overview of Sugamo and what you can do there. There's a lot more treats that they offer as well. I just highlighted a couple. And I wanted to give a shout out to Japan by Food, which is their article about this. I got a lot of information from there, and a lot of the photos are from there as well. So
is the granny part of it, is that just like marketing? Do you know what I mean?
I think so.
They're
I mean,
I don't know.
It's smart marketing.
Oh, sure.
For sure.
We call it marketing in the industry. But, I mean, is it like, is it a retirement sort of area, or is there an older population?
I think there is an older
population. And
population.
they're like, all these ladies coming in looking for underwear. I mean, come on, chop, let's get to it.
Well, and I think, too, I think a lot of the elderly folks who go there feel like, oh, I'm being catered to here, so I'm going to go there.
I'm surprised this is the only one that I've heard of, the Granny's Harajuku.
Yeah, and the shopkeepers are really...
We call them flea markets here in the U.S.
Yeah, right. The shopkeepers are really welcoming to everybody and everything, and it's all pretty flat and accessible to folks who might have some mobility issues.
Yeah, well, that would be important.
Yeah. So it's nice, and I think also calling it Granny's Harajuku would pique other people's interest too, who aren't grannies, to kind of go and check it out.
Sure.
And a lot of the stalls, the food stalls and everything, have kind of an older feel to them a little bit. So it's kind of interesting because it's in Tokyo still, but it's got a very different feel than the the heart of Tokyo.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We take it easy up here.
Yeah, exactly.
Things move a little slower.
A little slower.
There. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
still getting up those stairs.
yeah, that's right. And if you got a pain in your hip, you just rub that cloth on the cannon statue.
Give her a cloth.
Yeah, that's right.
Go ahead. Give her that water.
Yeah.
All right.
How about you? What are you going to talk about?
Thank you for telling us about Granny's Harajuku.
You're welcome.
Book your trips now.
Yes.
This week, I'm going to talk about something that is pretty exciting for me and my interests, but also for Japan and really humanity. Last Friday, Japan became the 5th nation to successfully land a spacecraft on the moon.
Wow.
The Small Lander for Investigating Moon, or SLIM Lander, you want it to be easy, right? Is a mission nearly 20 years in the making, and although there have been a few hiccups in the landing, it is a historic achievement for the country and its space program. A program that evolved from humble beginnings and one that owes its existence to a singular figure, Dr. Rocket.
Oh my gosh.
That's right! Japan has a Dr. Rocket, not a Mr. Rocket, some guy that came from overseas, but their own homegrown rocket hero, and his name was Hideo Itokawa.
Okay.
Get my first slide out here, the first of many. Hideo Itokawa was born in Tokyo in 1912 in Azubujuban.
Oh,
And
nice.
this
Very nice.
Kid was a genius from early age. He skipped several grades in school. He played the cello, the harmonica, the organ, the piano, the violin, and the Taisho Goto.
What is that?
So I'm not exactly sure. I haven't heard one, but it's like an electric koto.
Oh.
It's a stringed instrument,
Okay.
and it's laying out in a similar way.
Sure.
But it's plugged in, man.
Interesting.
Yeah. He apparently also invented an instrument later in life, and it's that whole English-Japanese internet thing. I had a really hard time finding out what that was.
What it was called.
But I'm guessing it was probably something electric like that.
Okay, probably.
Because he was also friends with Isao Tomita, who was like the Mr. Synthesizer of Japan. He was a pioneer of electronic music in Japan, and he composed the score for Kimba the White Lion.
Oh, really?
The Gary Newman of Japan.
Okay.
Which would really bum Gary Newman out, because I think that Gary Newman thinks he's the Gary Newman of Japan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
what is this?
That's Gary Newman.
Okay.
Itokawa also loved the arts and the opera, and he took up ballet at the age of 60. He was interested in baton twirling, brainwaves, English plays, mahjong, and philosophy. He wrote 49 books. I have to tell you all this now because there's way too much to talk about later. So we're just going to have this up front. But now let's return to Itokawa-sama as a schoolboy. When he was a middle schooler, his love of aeronautics was sparked by the news that Charles Lindbergh had successfully flown solo across the Atlantic. This was in 1927. And that made him want to design airplanes.
Okay.
So he went to Tokyo Imperial University, got a degree in aeronautical engineering, and in 1941 he became an assistant professor at the school.
Nice.
And he worked for the Nakajima Airplane Company, where he helped design the Nakajima Ki-43 Hayabusa fighter plane. Huh. Yeah, it's the 40s. We all worked for our countries in the 40s. I don't know what to tell you. I will say this, though. The Hayabusa, pictured here, which means falcon, Hayabusa, was a very similar plane to the more familiar Zero-sen, or Zero, which was used in kamikaze attacks late in the war. Mm-hmm. And Itokawa hated the kamikaze program. He thought it was so stupid that pilots would just act like human robots and blow themselves up. So he proposed the idea of a pilotless missile, like an early cruise missile design, similar to German buzz bombs. But that never ended up being made. The war ended before that was made. After the war, the U.S. occupying force essentially banned aircraft development in Japan.
I think I remember hearing about
Shut it all down.
Yeah.
The whole industry shut down. Everybody lost their jobs. And that would last until the San Francisco Peace Treaty of 1951. So Itokawa lost that job, but he became a full professor at U-Tokyo in 1948, and he began designing machines for medicinal purposes. Huh. So this guy's multidisciplined. He's all over the place. And he was very successful at that. He was invited in 1953 to deliver a lecture to the School of Medicine at Chicago University, While he was there, he discovered a thesis in the library entitled, "What would happen if a human being is able to fly into space?" And he thought, yeah, what would happen? So he established an aviation research group at the Institute of Industrial Science at his university. And the result was the Pencil Rocket Project. And here's a photo of the Pencil Rocket.
Oh, wow.
Now, if you're thinking, that looks like a model rocket.
It does.
You're not too far off.
Okay.
You ever do model rocketry?
No, but I remember doing it in like some science classes, like in elementary school or something like that.
So you did do it?
I didn't do it, but like my teacher would do it. You know, would
Like,
set it off or what have you.
I was just like, while you guys watch, he'd taunt you and be like, oh, this is really fun. I wish that some students could do this, but well, there it goes.
It's just like they just let the adults fire it up.
Oh, okay.
Well,
when I was your age, I got to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. How was that?
That was great.
Yeah.
I designed a rocket.
Okay.
God, she was a beauty. I named her the Eagle.
Yeah?
And I gave her white fins and a white nose cone, painted, the eagle eyes and beak on it.
That's cool.
It's gold spray paint, for the body. It's all shiny.
Sure.
Comes to launch day, all ready to go. Wind's right. Hit the button. The engine shoots up through the rocket and takes off.
No!
The rocket never left the ground.
No!
So, back to the drawing board, I suppose.
I guess.
Well, Itokawa was at the drawing board a lot. In the U.S. in 1955, they were already launching large rockets like the Viking series in 55. This is basically just a model rocket.
Yeah.
And they're launching the real stuff. But, this is humble beginnings for the Japanese
Sure.
space program. And the goal was only to develop rocket-powered aircraft.
Sure.
Eventually. So we're talking planes necessarily, not space stuff.
Okay.
But after Japan's participation in the International Geophysical Year, the focus of the rocket project became space engineering.
Okay.
And I'll explain the International Geophysical Year. It was an international science project that took place in 57 to 58, where countries all over the world did some science. And it most notably saw the launches of Sputnik and Explorer by the USSR and the US respectively, which were the first man-made satellites. And that got Japan and Itokawa thinking that they should get in on this satellite thing.
Okay.
So over 29 pencil rocket launches were made, and newer versions of the rocket got big enough that the testing grounds were moved from the University of Tokyo to Michikawa Beach in Akita Prefecture, just in case, we do an October sky on this, for safety reasons. After the pencil rocket, the baby rocket was developed, which launched to an altitude of 3.7 miles or 6 kilometers. And after that, the Kappa rocket was developed. Here's a picture of the Kappa with Itokawa beside it for scale.
Oh, wow.
So we're getting bigger.
It's a lot bigger.
And multi-stage as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Okay.
And then, funding is still pretty low at this point. The government's got other things to worry about. So all the rockets were handmade.
Oh my gosh.
And they had to operate the radar and the tracking like themselves. There was no, national forces, helping them out.
Oh, wow.
The Kappa went through 10 iterations.
Okay.
Some of them were multi-stage rockets, and eventually they reached a ceiling of 742 kilometers or 460 miles.
Okay.
Well into space. Space
Yeah.
is defined by something called the Kármán line, which is essentially 100 kilometers or like 60-something miles up. That's space.
Okay.
And the test suite was again moved because these rockets are going a long ways, so they need a long amount of range, to test them in.
Sure.
So they moved the facility to Ichinonura in Kagoshima Prefecture.
Okay.
Way at the bottom of Honshu.
Okay.
On the coast. Okay, so satellites, right? They want to get a satellite into space, which means they need a rocket that can carry a payload, a carrier rocket. So they developed the Lambda rocket. Now, this is all through the 60s. The US and the USSR are racing to the moon in the 60s, right? Japan spends the 60s trying to get a satellite into orbit.
Okay.
In 1963, the government starts increasing funding for the space development, and they establish the National Aerospace Laboratory. But almost immediately became clear that the NAL couldn't handle both the aeronautical side and the space technology sides. So in 64, the Space Development Promotion Headquarters was born out of the NAL to focus on space.
Okay.
Also in 1964, at the urging of Itokawa, the University of Tokyo established the Institute of Space and Astronautical Science.
Okay.
So remember all these.
Oh,
You got the NAL, you got the SDPH, and you got the IAEA, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
They're not going to matter soon. All through the 1960s, Japan continues to work with the Lambda series of rockets. They don't work all that well.
Oh, okay.
They have a tendency to blow up in space. Plus, they're unguided. They weren't allowed to have any guidance systems on board.
Oh.
Because that was a little too close to having a cruise missile.
Oh.
And that was still prohibited by the treaties that they were under.
Okay.
Post-World War II. Also, Itokawa retires in 1967.
Oh, wow.
From the university. And the history, at least what I could find, it's a little unclear on his continued involvement in the program, but he was still around, and of course the many scientists and engineers that he trained and fostered furthered Japan's aerospace efforts.
Sure.
They finally succeeded. On February 11th, 1970, Japan launched its first satellite, Osumi, into orbit. And the satellite was named after the Osumi Peninsula in Kagoshima Prefecture, where the launch site was located.
Wow.
And that is obviously who took the picture. That's a replica of it.
Okay. Okay.
It didn't do all that much.
Oh.
To be fair, Sputnik just went beep, 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 right?
Yeah, right.
Listen to this, Americans. I don't think Osumi really had a function. It just went up there, and they tracked it for about a day, and they're like, all right, now what? But it stayed in orbit until like 2003, until it deorbited. So that's cool. They did it. They're the fourth nation to launch an artificial satellite after the USSR, the US, and France. Okay. And things start to take off at this point, so to speak. By the way, in 1969, the Space Development Promotion Headquarters was reorganized as the National Space Development Agency, which was a separate agency from the ISAS.
Okay.
So the NSDA will focus on rockets to launch large satellites, whereas the ISAS launches smaller scientific satellites.
Okay.
Now, Japan would go on to refine their rocket technology, but in the mid-70s, they end up signing an agreement with the U.S. to license some of America's rocket technology to further their own efforts, specifically the Delta rocket line, which the U.S. used a lot. And so they launched several more satellites at this time, using American technology. I'm going to fast forward a bit through the history of Japanese spaceflight because I want to talk about some of their most important scientific missions.
Sure.
Okay, so take all those letters, erase them from your brain. In the 80s and 90s, Japan keeps launching commercial satellites, but their launch record is a bit spotty. They've been licensing this other technology, but they've got technical problems, and they want to contribute to space exploration and to scientific progress, not just launching another, telecommunications satellite or whatever. Plus, the whole of the Japanese government is being reorganized at the end of the Showa era. They're getting all the ducks in the row. So in 2003, the three previous space organizations that I mentioned,
yes,
the Institute of Science and Astronautical Science, the Institute of Space and Astronautical Science, the National Aerospace Laboratory of Japan, and the National Space Development Agency of Japan are all combined to create JAXA.
Okay.
The Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency.
Okay.
This is their NASA.
Sure.
This is what it was supposed to be.
Sure.
And JAXA is administered by the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications, as well as the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, and Technology.
MEX.
Or MEXT.
Yay! It's MEX.
They're everywhere.
They are everywhere.
And to kick off a new era in space exploration for Japan, the Hayabusa mission was launched in 2003 to land on an asteroid.
Okay.
Collect samples and return them to Earth.
Sure.
That's the important part. The target of the Hayabusa mission was asteroid 25143 Itokawa.
Okay.
Named for Hideo Itokawa.
Oh, nice.
The father of the Japanese space program.
Wow.
Where's my Mad Men-esque 1960s Japanese space program show?
Great question.
Right?
I'd watch that.
You got the real thin, the ties.
The ties are super thin.
Look at the short sleeve shirts, you know,
Yeah, right.
with the pockets. We got to get these rockets up there. No, it's the NASD. No, it's the ISDA. All these, right? They're trying to figure out who they work for. If only Mex would come in and fix all this. Hasn't been invented yet. And so the craft successfully completes its mission in 2005. It touches down on Itokawa and retrieves its samples. This is a scale model, half size of what the probe looked like.
Oh, wow.
And it returns. Well, that's only half size.
I know.
Yeah. And it returns to Earth in 2010. And this was an incredible achievement by JAXA. Hayabusa was the first craft designed to land on an asteroid, and most importantly, to take off from the asteroid as well.
Right.
And return to Earth. I think both the U.S. and I think the USSR had flown probes near asteroids or like impacted them, but this one landed and came back.
Yeah.
It was also the first craft to employ microwave ion engine technology.
Okay.
Which is those little Coke cans at the back there.
Okay.
One other thing that was a bit of a snag, the probe contained a mini probe called Minerva that was to be released on the asteroid's surface to take pictures, but a timing error caused it to be released too soon, causing it to miss the asteroid and get lost in space.
Oh, no.
That's okay. That doesn't matter. There's another Minerva probe on Hayabusa 2.
Oh.
We just get another one.
Sure.
Oh, I forgot. Hayabusa 2.
Yeah.
In 2014.
Yeah. Okay.
JAXA launched Hayabusa 2, a sample retrieval mission to 162173 Ryugu asteroid.
Okay.
And the probe returned to Earth after a successful mission in the year 2020.
Oh, nice.
This time the probe featured a kinetic penetrator, SEXY, which was designed to blow a hole in the side of the asteroid so the probe could get the freshest bits of asteroid to bring back.
Okay.
And like I said, the probe contained not only Minerva 2, but also the Mascot probe developed by the German Aerospace Center to study the asteroid's composition.
Nice.
Hayabusa 2 is the first probe to deploy other probes on an asteroid. In fact, here's a picture that one of the rovers took from the asteroid.
Oh, wow.
That's it. That's your asteroid picture right there.
That is an asteroid. You can see the lens flare and everything.
Yep. J.J. Abrams was right all along.
Oh my God.
That bastard.
Lens flares in space.
Here is another picture.
Okay.
From the probe proper.
Nice.
I mean, this is a star field, obviously.
Sure.
You know, and then that's the asteroid. I mean, it's an asteroid. It's not going to be like a Hojo's there, but.
No.
And one more.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That looks very outer spacey.
Yeah.
If I do say so myself.
So it's, it's incredible stuff. Like this isn't Mars, this isn't Venus, it's an asteroid.
Yeah, right.
It's just the middle of space.
It's the total middle of space.
If you dropped your keys there, you'd be screwed. But it's incredible stuff. I mentioned at the start the Small Lander for Investigating Moon, or SLIM.
Yes.
Which is currently on the moon. This is a model of it.
Okay.
A mock-up, really. It landed a week ago, last Friday, and its mission is ongoing. It was launched this year in September, and its main objective was to demonstrate precise landing.
Okay.
Landing a spacecraft, it's not always, a bullseye situation. Apollo 11, for example, landed nearly 7 kilometers off of its target spot.
That seems like a lot.
When it reached the moon in 1969. But the SLIM lander used existing lunar mapping data that we have, and also technology adapted from facial recognition systems to plan its descent from orbit. Yeah, and it was able to sort of maneuver in its orbit as it was sort of coming down. And it achieved that goal of landing within the goal they set for themselves before they can get an S rank, the Japanese was they had to get within 100 meters of their target point. And I think they got like 65 or 66 meters away. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. That's why the probe is nicknamed the Moon Sniper.
Okay.
SLIM carried with it 2 remote probes, LEV-1 and LEV-2. LEV stands for Lunar Exploration Vehicles. One is a hopper probe.
Okay.
Not like Stranger Things. like a frog.
Yeah.
And
right.
one is a roller, I guess.
Okay.
And they were designed in cooperation with Sony and Takara Tomy.
Okay.
If that name sounds familiar, it's because they are a famous Japanese toy company.
Oh.
And I will show you a video of Lev number 1. There might be sound on these. Put your cans on.
I'll put my headphones on.
So here is a video of Lev number 1.
These are the two rovers, Lev 1 and Lev 2.
That's it. That's the probe.
That's the video?
And this is the movement
That's
of
how it
Lev
gets
1, which is a
around.
hop.
Yep. That's it.
Nice.
You push its head down, and then it goes boom. And here is Lev number 2.
Is it a toy?
This video is from South China Morning Post. It just rolls
Oh
around.
my god.
See that?
Yes. It definitely looks like a robot. It is a robot.
There are spaces in the wheels or in the surface there to pull it along, and then the tail in the back lets it, sort of bite into the ground. So it's inching and rolling kind of at the same time.
Sure.
And that the Lev 2, or it's also called Sora Q, is apparently similar in design to an actual toy sold in Japanese stores.
Really?
So where's the movie for that?
Yeah, really.
Japanese Tom Hanks, who is...
I don't know who the Japanese...
Who is the Japanese Tom Hanks?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Ken Watanabe. Ken Watanabe is like, I gotta find the right design for this. Jack says, Mex is crawling up my ass. It's Christmas time. They're at FAO Schwartz.
Sure, right.
If they have that in Japan. And his kid's like, Daddy, I want this. And he's like, we gotta go.
Oh my god.
Get all 15 of them.
There's a big toy store or a toy store that is in department stores a lot called Kiddyland. Kiddy space land. Yeah, well. And I think I told you this story before. Like, I was in a Kiddyland shopping for like Englishy things like stationery and stickers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I heard on the same day, Runaway Train Never Coming Back. And 9 Inch Nails, I want to
radio edit you like an animal?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it radio edited?
No.
Oh.
It was not.
That's the kick.
And it was one of those things too, like I'm like, these Japanese people around me have no idea what these songs are. And like,
I love American music.
I know.
Now play the Violet Femmes. Yeah. So this mission has been an incredible success, but the patient might die still.
Oh.
Part of Slim's soft landing strategy involved a unique pivot maneuver, where the craft would descend toward its landing zone and then use its thrusters to turn itself so it can set itself down. And here's a video.
Oh, another video.
The moon and go out to a much further
this is from The
distance,
Independent.
in order to use the gravity of the Earth, Moon, Sun
So
system
they're showing
to pull us back.
how it's
And
using
now
the
we're,
facial recognition.
observations from lunar orbit. This is part of the vision-based navigation using the onboard cameras.
Using the
so Slim's
locations of the
cameras
craters
scan the
to pick its
ground
landing
beneath
spot.
it on the lunar surface and
And it
identify
fires
craters,
its thrusters
which
to
helps
decelerate
Slim
from
know where it
orbit.
is.
And it's like a little
Now we rotate
cart,
to a
like a
vertical
little
position as we
crate
prepare
with
for
wheels,
landing.
kind of.
Yeah.
Now it comes straight down.
And Slim starts scanning the ground again, this
And, yeah,
time
scans
looking
the
for
ground
obstacles that would actually be dangerous to the spacecraft should it land directly on them, for example. large boulders.
Enhance. That's the spot.
And if it spots a large boulder, it moves horizontally in order to avoid that boulder and to an open space. And then just
And
before
those are
landing,
the,
it's going to release
probes.
the spacecraft's 2 rovers, Lev 1 and Lev 2.
And then it goes
here
flip
is the
and
2-step
boom,
landing
down
where
like
we-
that.
Wow.
Now that's how it was supposed to work.
Okay.
But the thrusters might have fired out of sequence, so that the craft has landed softly upside down.
Oh no.
Yes, this is a view from one of the rovers. This thing just tanked it. I mean, technically, I guess it's kind of on its nose. If the little wheels are at the bottom, it's sort of landed right in on its nose. And the reason that this is a problem is because the craft's solar panels were oriented in such a way to capture the sun's light, which comes from a certain direction at this time of the month.
Right.
Right? Earth, the moon revolves around the Earth, and it's tidally locked. And so the sun will always be essentially from one side for half the month, and then from another side from the other half of the month.
Yeah.
And the panels are now facing away from the sun at time of landing. So the craft immediately began draining its batteries, and they had to put it into low power mode.
Okay.
Now, JAXA engineers are hoping that with the changing of the sun's direction in 2 weeks or so, they'll be able to capture enough light to start the probe again. But as always in aerospace, there's constant challenges that you have to adapt to.
Wow. I can't believe it landed on its nose. At least it didn't get hurt in the process, though, because of this facial recognition software.
And the Japanese at first, they didn't want to say anything until they had all the information, but it's been a week now, and so they have released everything, like the telemetry from the probe.
Wow.
If you go to, Scott Manley or one of those YouTube aerospace guys, they'll probably have a longer video explaining, what happened. But something happened where it was coming down, and it's all based on sensors and knowing exactly, what the right time for everything to fire is, because it's even at the moon, it's too far for real-time control. Sure. So it has to think for itself. And they're thinking that it just kind of turned and it thought it was where it wasn't. And so it fired the thrusters and it went, instead of going one way, it kind of went the other way. But these things happen. But these are all incredible accomplishments.
Yeah.
And they can all be traced back to Itokawa-sama, who's not only brilliant, but he's a creative and artistic person. I mentioned that he took up ballet at the age of 60. That was in 1973.
Yeah.
And 5 years later, he appeared in the Tokyo Imperial Theater production of Prokofiev's Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, my gosh.
As Romeo's father.
Wow.
Mr. Montague. So that really gave the audience a thrill. They're like, is that Dr. Rocket in the tights? Packing the rocket there?
Oh, my God.
But yeah, he was a cool guy. He's a scientist and an artist, and we salute the life and work of Dr. Rocket, Hideo Itokawa.
Nice.
Here he is pictured with some of his
the pencil
designs.
Rocket.
Yeah. Also Jules Verne, Goddard, the American rocket guy, Yuri Gagarin, first man in space.
Wow.
So yes, he sits among the greats.
That's very cool.
It is.
Well, and I feel like the slim too, calling it that, it's also it has this very narrow scope of where it wants to land on the moon. So that could be, I think slim reminds me of that too.
Is there a Japanese figure who's he's the best archer, he's going to hit this target?
Oh, like a Japanese Robin Hood or something like that?
Yeah. Is there a Japanese Robin Hood?
I don't know. That'd be a good thing to find out. Yeah.
Write it down.
Yeah.
Because we would call it the Annie Oakley or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
The sharpshooter.
The sharpshooter?
The Hawkeye.
Oh, there you go.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you paint Jeremy. What's his name on the
Jerry Runner.
And he sings a song about driving in a truck with Jenny. I think that's it for our show this week. Thanks for coming along with us. And thanks to our patrons for your support. We couldn't do the show at all without you.
We couldn't.
As goofy as it is. I want to remind everybody, patron or no, that we have lots more Sailor Noob content available on our Patreon at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. If you want to support the show by becoming a patron, go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Sailor Noob, or you can, give us a tip at Kōhī. What is it again? ko-fi.com/JustEnoughTrope. We'd love to have you. We've got Discord as well. It's in our show notes. If you want to join us on our Discord and talk about all things nerdy, all things Sailor Moon and anime, we'd love to have you. Subscribe to us here at Twitch before you go. Hit the heart, hit the bell icon. I also stream some video games on Twitch during the days. Weekdays, 12 p.m. Central, the laser lunch hour, if you want to join us for that. And then I think we're doing it this week, but we've been doing a Saturday night special. That's what we're calling it from now on.
Saturday night special.
Saturday night special. Mikan Hana has been making her way through Disco Elysium, the communist role-playing game. It'll make sense when you see it. So join us more for that. All of that and more is available here at twitch.tv/JustEnoughTrope. And that's it for us for our show this week. I think we caked up in honor of the Yaya Matsuri guys.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because there ain't going to be any cake this year at the Matsuri, that's for sure. We'll be back next month with an all-new episode of Sailor Noob, and we'll be back next week.
Yes.
With a new episode. What's that going to be?
It is episode number 165, Kuristoru Kagayaku Toki, Utsukushi Yume no Chikara in Japanese. The crystal shines, the beautiful power of dreams, the English translation, and the English title, Golden Revival.
All right.
Yeah.
Golden Revival. I think I ate there last week. 2 left?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, just 2 left for us.
Yeah, and then an episode where we'll be looking back on the highlights and the lowlights of Supers.
Let's not look back. We don't have to do that. Yeah, we're almost done with Sailor Moon Supers.
Yes. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I can't. But we will be talking about that next week. So join us then. If we forgot to mention, if you don't know, you can get the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. Whatever iTunes, you can watch it on YouTube. So we're available on all the platforms. And we've got a new episode of Sailor Cinema that I want to talk about. We have a feature on our Patreon for Princess patrons called Sailor Cinema, where we talk about films that are Japan-related, Japanese films, anime films. And we recently talked about Tetsuo the Iron Man.
Yes.
And Tetsuo.
Oh, Tetsuo.
That is a film.
It is.
And a half. Actually, it's more like half a film. It's like very short.
It's very short.
But yeah, that's a special film. So if you're a Princess level patron or you want to be a Princess level patron and hear us talk about Tetsuo and other Japanese films, join us at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. That's it for us for this shore leave. We'll see you next week when we make up for another episode of Sailor Noob. Tell him goodbye, Mikahana.
Goodbye, Mikahana.